has been here since 2003. So we actually obtained Boo because he was orphaned. His mom was illegally shot off of Highway 26 near Wells, BC. And when the conservation officer actually went in to arrest the poacher, Boo and his brother Carrie were actually up in a tree. They were only about 5 months old and they were only 12 pounds. So they were very little, very vulnerable. Within the province of BC, it is government policy to euthanize orphan cubs. And the reason for that is they feel it's just a lot more humane than allowing them to be predated on or starved to death. So like I said, Boo was only 12 pounds, so very vulnerable for something to actually happen to him out there without his mom at that time. But because there was a lot of media actually created around the whole event, Grouse Mountain Wildlife Refuge in Vancouver adopted Boo and his brother for the first year of their life while we developed this whole fencing system. And we actually chose this specific 22 acres because grizzly bears do naturally frequent this habitat. So we knew that this would provide Boo with a good amount of food for him. So we brought them here in 2003, and Boo and his brother Carrie did come together. But unfortunately we lost Carrie in 2004 during hibernation when he passed away. His lower intestines actually twisted. That's how he passed away. So we actually didn't know what had happened. We had sent his body away to Abbotsford, BC, where our provincial lab is, and they performed a necropsy and were able to determine the cause of death and sent that report to us. So Boo has been on his own since, and he's quite content to be on his own. Approximately 3 years of age, Mummy does leave their cubs, and their siblings may hang around together that first summer, but eventually they do separate, so it's very natural for them to be alone. So Boo probably figured, you know, he just went his own way, and that was just that. He was fine to be on his own. He woke up like nothing happened. So we do not ever introduce other bears into this habitat because this is Boo's home range, so he would defend it. Grizzly bears and black bears, they're very solitary animals. They're not a pack animal, so they want to be on their own. And in the wild, naturally, grizzlies and black bears do avoid each other. Black bears do understand that grizzlies are much bigger and stronger, so they do naturally avoid them. But if there's a good food source, they will encounter each other, especially if it's been a hard season for them finding food. So I had a gentleman come up here. He was coming out of Lake Louise and actually photographed a black bear and a young grizzly fighting for food. He got about 60 good pictures of this event, and they actually posted it in the Calgary Sun. Because that's really rare to see. Even researchers that go out looking for these kinds of things don't often get to see that. So Boo is 10 and a half now. So he's been here for 9 years. He's about 620 pounds and growing because he's working to put on that winter weight for the winter. Historically, he gets to about 750 pounds before he goes into hibernation, but we're already at 620, so I think we're going to exceed that this year.
You didn't weigh him or nothing?
We did have a scale in here, but the ground squirrels dug underneath it, and then Boo dug up the ground squirrels, so now we have to replace that scale. Ground squirrels are Boo's favorite snack, so if he's got a good opportunity to actually forage on them, he will dig them up from their homes underneath their tunnel. They steal his peanuts, so, you know, it's only befitting, right? So, Boo still has about, 2.5, maybe almost 3 months before he goes into hibernation, so that's why I think we're going to exceed that 750 mark. Because he is a 10.5-year-old bear, he is a mature male. Males don't technically sexually mature till between 5 and 7 years of age, and females is 4 and 7. So we don't mate Boo. I get that asked a lot, and the reason we don't mate Boo is because we don't want to raise captive bears. Boo was in an unfortunate situation, and we were lucky enough to actually save his life. So this is actually the best outcome that Boo had for his life. We will keep Boo for the remainder of his life, and we do expect him to live up to 35, and that is because he is in a refuge situation. We're able to maintain his diet, monitor that, and his health as well. We have 2 vets that are always on call and willing to come up here any time of the day or night. So he's well looked after. He is actually a very large interior grizzly bear. Typically, our Rocky Mountain interior grizzly bears are about 200 pounds less than Boo. So he's as big as you can get on a vegetarian diet. There are interior bears, their diet is 80% vegetation, 20% protein. So we mimic that as best as possible. This habitat offers Boo 50% of his natural diet, and we supplement the other 50%. So Boo is receiving things like carrots and corn and sweet potatoes. He gets blueberries, grapes, apples, pears, sunflower seeds, dry dog food, and peanuts. And we actually use the peanuts as a gauging method as to how hungry he is. If he's at a really good calorie intake, he'll actually crack that shell and eat the peanut. But if he's just really hungry, he'll eat the whole shell. And then we know we've got to increase his calories. He's eating approximately 20,000 calories a day right now. So that's 60 pounds of food twice a day.
Wow. I thought I was hungry.
His grocery bills are very expensive.